The Battle of Darsūniškis took place on March 24, 1702 near the town of Darsūniškis during the Swedish invasion of Poland in the Great Northern War. The Swedish army of about 240 men under the command of Alexander Hummerhielm was defeated by the Polish Saxon army of 6,000 men under Michał Serwacy Wiśniowiecki. Prelude. After having crossed the Don of the victorious Swedish army occupied all of Courland, whereafter they began the campaign against Polish-Lithuanian mainland in the winter of 1701 to 1702. Charles XII of Sweden was determined to end the hostiles between the Saxon and Polish armies before starting an invasion of Russia, and so he sent his vanguard of Alexander Hummerhielm to seize footholds in Lithuania before the arrival of the main army. On March 22, 1702, General Hummerhielm marched out of Kowno to collect 6 cannons previously taken from the Polish army after a fierce skirmish near the Gniezno's castle. The Swedish infantry, consisting of 110 men under Gustav Henrik Seagroth, travelled in prams along the river of Neman, and the cavalry of 130 men under Hummerhielm walked alongside the banks, fighting near Darsūniškis. After 3 days the troops arrived at Linkovatshof, whereafter they continued the march the next day towards the town of Darsūniškis, where Hummerhielm went with his cavalry force to scout a distance away from his infantry. Here he was attacked by the vanguard of Michał Serwacy Wiśniowiecki's army, which consisted of roughly 6,000 men. The Polish attack was repulsed, and the Swedish cavalry started persecuting the defeated opponents until they were ambushed by the whole army of Wiśniowiecki. Hummerhielm was quickly captured, but his men continued resisting until there were only 20 wounded Swedish cavalrymen left, who were all captured and the rest killed, except for one man who made it over Neman to report to the main Swedish army of the defeat. Fighting at Neman River, Gustav Henrik Seagroth, who still made his way up the Neman River with his 110 infantry, had heard nothing of the defeat of Hummerhielm, and so Wiśniowiecki managed to surprise also him with his vanguard, which was, however, repulsed. Seagroth then tried to make it across the river to safety, but his prams got stuck on the river bank, whereof Wiśniowiecki encircled his force in a half-moon formation and positioned 4 of his cannons on the high ground over the Swedish landing. The battle raged for 2 hours, with constant attacks and cannon fire, and on 12 o'clock Wiśniowiecki sent a parliamentary to request the surrender of Seagroth's force, whom, however, refused. The Polish forces then brought another 3 cannons opposite the direction of the previous 4 to eliminate the Swedes with crossfire. One of the cannons got so close to the Swedish fire that they soon had to abandon it. On 2 o'clock the Polish commander, who had been unable to break the Swedish defense, sent another parliamentary to the Swedes, telling them Hummerhielm's force had previously been defeated and that there would be no reinforcements. Seagroth, however, once again refused to surrender, suggesting he would only agree if his army was allowed to march out, avoiding being made prisoners. In turn, Wiśniowiecki denied the suggestion, and the fight continued for another 2 hours, when finally, 4 o'clock, after 6 hours of fighting, Wiśniowiecki allowed the Swedes under Seagroth to march back to Kowno. By then, 6 men of his force had been killed and another 9 men wounded. Aftermath. On the 12th of April 1702, the Swedish King Charles XII arrived to the scene where the outnumbered Swedish forces had fought and let disinter the bodies and reburied with all military funeral honors. Leaving the place, Charles XII ordered to burn the town Darsūniškis to the ground on the 12th of April 1702. The Swedish army was not yet officially in war with the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. However, the battle had been decisive in the king's decision to fully start the Polish campaign, in order to dethrone Augustus II from the throne.